Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Natasha, if it is your first time here. Today's video is another installment of a series I've started on my channel called What I Watched This Month, where I sit here and get ready. I don't talk about the makeup, I don't talk about technique, nothing like that. I am just strictly talking about what I've watched this month, whether it be new movies, old movies, TV shows, YouTube, TikTok, anything like that. So if you're interested in this video, just keep watching. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I am like really feeling that weird limbo emotion between Christmas and New Year's where it's just like, what is life? What do I do with myself? What do I do with my hands? Like, I am definitely in that boat right now. I don't know why. It happens to me every year. It happens to everyone every year. I'm just feeling like out of place, restless, a little weird. So this month, obviously, was Christmas. I'm not going to be talking about any Christmas movies or TV shows because Christmas is over. I'm over it. I did post a video last year where I talk about my favorite Christmas movies, so if you're interested in that, I will link that down below so you can look at that, but not talking about any Christmas movies in this video. I'll link that down below if you're interested in that, but for this video, I'm only talking about regular movies and TV, no Christmas. So my lip right here, I don't know if you could tell, it like split a week ago and it's like starting to heal, but it's still like, oh, it's a little funny, it hurts a little bit. Anyways, let's get into it. I got my list here on my phone like I always do. I actually had to like really marathon watching a lot of stuff over the past few days because like a week ago I realized like I've only watched Christmas movies. Like I haven't watched anything this month. So I'm going to start with YouTube actually because I only have one YouTuber I want to talk about. So as some of you may know, I do all my working out at home. I don't go to a gym. I don't go outside. Like I am very much a living room workout person. And I normally stick between watching the same few workout people. I watch Chloe Ting, I watch Pop Sugar Fitness, I watch Yoga Lattes, just like stuff like that. I don't really branch out very often, but recently I found, I think first on Instagram and then I watched over on YouTube, a YouTube channel called MADFIT. Now this girl's body, goals, okay? She is tall and muscly and just gorgeous and like her body is just incredible. I started watching a few of her videos and damn, it is intense. She has videos that range from like 5 minutes to like 40 minutes. She has full body, she has just abs, you know, just like a normal workout channel. I really like her videos. Now, I haven't really listened to a lot of the audio, I'm not gonna lie. I usually just put in my headphones and listen to whatever I want, so I can't really speak on like how she is in the video. Like I don't really know her personality, I don't really know how she explains things because I'm just kind of watching it with my headphones in, but I will say her workouts are intense. It's a lot of combo moves, so you're doing a lot of things, and I find that kind of difficult for me, but I've been really liking that because it's making me kind of, you know, go out of my comfort zone and try something a little bit different that maybe I wouldn't necessarily do and kind of push myself in a different way. And I have been using her videos like all month and I can really just even feel a difference. Like, you know, I've been doing Chloe Ting videos for almost a year now and I really like her videos. I still get a really good workout from her videos, but you know, your body just starts getting used to it. And this new girl I've been watching, MADFIT, I did like a 15-minute hit video and I was dying. Like it was so many moves, like compound moves that I wasn't really used to doing, and oh my god, I was exhausted. I have been loving her videos. I've noticed that I've really been watching more of like her, you know, 10-minute abs, 10-minute arms, like little videos like that versus like a full body. I've just been adding them in and I have been loving it so much. So if you were looking for just like a new workout person on YouTube, I definitely recommend her videos. I really like the format. I really like when workout videos have like the timer up in the corner so you like know how long you're going, so that way, because for me, I really like listening to my headphones. I don't really have to pay attention to the audio of the video as much, and I really like that. Her videos are really good. They are busting my ass, so I definitely recommend checking her out. Okay, should I talk about movies next or TV shows? What do I got more of here? You know, but let's go ahead and start with TV shows. So this next TV show I'm going to talk about is honestly so random. Like, if you know me, you're going to be like, I never in a million years would think that you would watch that show. But The Grand Tour on Amazon. So listen, I am not in any way, shape, or form interested in cars. I don't care. If I never had to drive again, I don't care. If cars ceased to exist on the planet, I don't care. I'm not into cars. I'm not someone who, like, when I see a nice car, I'm like, oh yeah, like, I don't care. I really could care less what I drive. I could really care less about cars. It's just not my vibe. But this show, for some reason, sucks me in so hard. If you don't know The Grand Tour, it's basically these 3 old British dudes who talk about cars, and they go to different parts of the world, and the whole premise of the show is really that they, like, it's kind of hard to explain, I guess. So they have these, like, missions, like, the producers send them on these missions. So, like, the episode that I just watched, which I've been waiting to come out for a while, it was the 2nd episode in the season, they go to Madagascar. So they're in Madagascar, and it's like they're looking for this hidden treasure, but the whole thing is that they have to buy cars that maybe wouldn't necessarily make it all the way across Madagascar, and they have to, like, modify them, and they're running into, like, dumb issues. Like, they're literally driving these cars across the country, not on roads. Like, they're driving them off-road, and it's so funny because someone will bring, like, a Bentley, and will be driving a Bentley, like, up the side of a mountain, and I don't know why this show, I find it so entertaining, and it's not even about the cars. Like, they talk about the cars a little bit, but I don't know why I find these 3 old dudes so funny, and that's so rare. Like, how often do you find 3 old white dudes funny? Like, come on. So if you're into cars, or your significant other is into cars and you're not, I definitely recommend this show because it's like a little bit of cars and then mostly just like comedy, and I really like that they go all over the world, and you see like different nature shots and animals and like just really cool cinematography, and like, yeah, some of the jokes are super corny because they're old men, but I still really like this show, and I was really excited when this episode came out. They're like an hour each. It's on Amazon Prime. It's totally free. This is a show that, like, Spencer showed me a couple of years ago, and I was so not into it because I don't care about cars, and then I got, like, so sucked in to it, and now, like, I feel like I'm more excited about it than he is. You guys, here's the issue, is that I really don't feel like wearing makeup today. Like, I just don't, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I'll do it for you. Just hair out of my way. So the next show that we watched this month, I've actually only seen 1 episode so far. It is the Mandalorian, the 2nd season. So I watched the 1st season. I love it. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and honestly, I think the Mandalorian is like the best new Star Wars thing. Like, I'm not into any of the new movies. I'm not really into like the animated shows. That's just like not for me. But the Mandalorian, it is so good because it's like a space western. Like, I just really love the story. Baby Yoda's so cute. I love Mando. Like, I'm into it. I'm into the Star Wars world. So we haven't watched the 2nd season yet. Everyone we know has been like up our ass, like, why haven't you seen it? The finale's so crazy. I've been like avoiding the internet because I don't want to see the tweets. We waited until like the whole season was out because we wanted to binge watch it. It's one of those shows where like a new episode comes out every week. It doesn't just all get dropped at the same time. So we waited, and we finally started it last night, and we got 1 episode in. The episodes range from like 30 minutes to an hour. They're kind of all different run times. Ugh, it was so good. It's just so good. They feel like mini movies, the episodes. Like I said, it's like a western. I like that there's like a main storyline, but still like mini stories that are happening every episode. So it usually has something to do with like he has to help like a local village, and then the bigger picture, it kind of all connects. And I love Star Wars. If you haven't watched The Mandalorian, I think even if you weren't a Star Wars fan, you would really like it. And honestly, I'm kind of shook by how many actors are getting into the Star Wars universe now. Like, it used to be like you were so lucky if you got into like the Star Wars universe or the Marvel universe, like something big like that. But now I feel like just every actor ever is in Star Wars now, and like I don't care. I like it. I don't have that issue. Like, sometimes I feel like there's certain actors that when you throw them into something, it's kind of hard to take the actor away from it. Like, I'm trying to think of someone right now. I can't really think of an actor right now, but I know you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we started The Mandalorian. It's amazing. I can't wait to binge watch the rest of it. We're probably going to be doing that the next couple of days. We just didn't have enough time yesterday for me to like really dive into it, but it is amazing. If you have Disney Plus, watch it. Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, watch it. It's so good. It's like a space western. Like, it gives me, honestly, Firefly vibes. Firefly is like one of my favorite TV shows ever, and it has a lot of similar vibes to that, which is why I think I like it so much. It's just great. So also for TV shows, I restarted a reality show, which if you know me, you know that like I am obsessed with this show. I love this show. It might be my favorite reality TV show of all time, and that is Jersey Shore. Now, before you roll your eyes, before you turn the video off, hear me out, okay? I'm obsessed with this show. I watched this show when it first came out. Now, I'm not talking about like the new family reunion seasons. I don't really fuck with those. I don't really like those. I'm talking about the original like 5 seasons. Honestly, like the first 3 seasons of the show. I'm obsessed. Those came out when I was in high school, and like me and my friends would do like Jersey Shore nights where we would like dress up and watch the show, and I've honestly seen them so many times that I can be in another room and like, you know, you can hear it kind of in the background, and I know everything that's going on. I know every word. I know where they're at. I know what it looks like. Like, I know everything. I love that show, and it's just like one of those things where I'm like, I just need a serotonin boost. I throw on that show and it legitimately makes me so happy. I love it so much, and I know that it's like so trashy and so lame and so drama and just like ridiculous, but honestly, I'm obsessed. Like, I love the show so much. I watch it all the time, and I started rewatching it, and I'm now when they're in Italy, like I'm telling you, I've been binge watching it. It's been like what's saving me this holiday season, and it's just amazing. I know that it sucks and I know that it's trashy, but I just love it so much. It makes me so happy. It's so dumb, and it's on Hulu, and honestly, what sparked me rewatching it again was that I was on TikTok, and there's a lot of people on TikTok who have been posting the uncensored versions of the show. Like, they purchased the uncensored versions, and so instead of hearing like bleep 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 for all the cuss words, like you hear everything, it's uncensored, you know. And I have never experienced that as many times as I've watched the show, and you know, most of the time, like with bleeps, especially in shows, you kind of know what they're saying, but there is some scenes where it's just like bleep bleep bleep, you bleep 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 bleep, and you're like, I wonder exactly what insults are being thrown right now, like in the Ron and Sam fights. Like, I want to know what they said to each other, so I've been watching them on TikTok, and I told Spencer, like, listen, I just have to buy the shows. Like, I know we can watch them for free, and I watch them all the time, but we should buy them because I need the uncensored moments in my life. And then I fell down this complete rabbit hole of this girl who was like, supposedly, she was on TikTok, I don't know if it's real or not, but she was like a producer on the show, and she was telling all these show secrets, and I just got so sucked back into the world of Jersey Shore, and I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I love the show. I don't care what you have to say. It makes me happy. Okay, next, and my final show in my TV show category here, I finally watched the season finale, series finale of Supernatural. Now, I was late on the Supernatural train. I'm not gonna lie. I've known about Supernatural for a really long time. I mean, it's 15 seasons, the whole series. Like, that's a lot of seasons. And I remember hearing about it like in high school, and I remember like a few years after high school, I had a roommate who watched it, and I just was like, you know, it wasn't for me. I was never really into it. And like 2-3 years ago, I randomly threw it on Netflix because Netflix, like, I don't know if it just came on Netflix or what, but I threw it on and I got sucked in so hard. And in the beginning, Spencer wasn't into it, and he started to get sucked in, and then we like started watching it together all the time, and it just was like so amazing. If you don't know Supernatural, I'm gonna give like literally the quickest, sloppiest explanation of what the show is. The show is about 2 brothers who are hunters, but they're hunters of like vampires and werewolves and demons and angels and genies, like, you know, supernatural things. That's what they do. They travel around. It's one of those shows where each episode is a small storyline, and then there's an overall big storyline about the show. That's what I really loved about the show. And something else I loved about the show is kind of depressing. Like, there's a lot of bad things that happen, a lot of negative things that happen. A lot of the episodes end on a downer note. And I really, really loved that about the show, because the show is also so over the top cheesy. There's probably 4 to 5 monologues in every episode, and it just gets worse as the seasons go, okay? I swear to God, every episode, the brothers are like, but you're my brother. I love you. We're brothers. Brother love. Brothers. Like, that's the vibe of the show, okay? Now, the first 8 seasons,
so what the fuck do you want?
Phenomenal. The first, half of the show is so good. Then it starts kind of falling off, and it gets to the point where it's like, I've been watching it for so long, I just have to finish it, you know? Like, I don't know if you ever watched Lost. Same vibes, where you're like, I've been watching the show for so many seasons, like, I just need to finish it, okay? So, 15th season comes out, you know, the first half of it came out, and then the second half came out on Netflix. It was kind of weird, so I just waited to watch it. I finally finished the show. I hate it. I have not stopped talking shit about this series finale. It is so bad. Not to mention, the second to last episode feels like it's the last episode. Like, the way they end it, first of all, I'm giving major spoilers here, so if you're like a Supernatural stan and you're gonna be upset about spoilers, like, fast forward or something, because I'm giving spoilers. Basically, the whole show, you know, gets to the big climax, the big plot point is that, like, God's an asshole. Who knew? Okay? And they have to defeat God because God is gonna destroy the world because God's pissed off that the main characters aren't doing things the way that he wants them to do it. But I thought there was a thing called free will. God. Anyways, so one of the plot lines in the show is that they continuously try to, like, pull, like, a we tricked ya on the bad guys, and it never works out. That's, like, something that, like, just happens in almost every episode. Every time there's a big bad guy, they always try to be like, oh, we gotcha, and it never works, okay? So tell me why it would work on God. Why? So, basically, the second to last episode, they pull a once-over on God. We tricked ya, okay? They defeat God. The planet gets, it's so hard to explain it, honestly, if you haven't seen all of it, because I don't want to, like, throw out all these character names and have it not make any sense. But basically, God gets defeated by God's grandson, who is also, you guessed it, a god. Okay, so God's grandson takes all of God's powers and then restores everything back to normal. He brings back all the people, brings back all happiness, brings back all the animals, everything, okay? And it ends. And you're like, oh, okay, that's the ending. Even though it sucks, that's the ending. But no. They decide to throw one more episode in there and kill off the 2 main characters, which I'm not upset about, okay? I would have been so happy if the show ended on a down note. Like, I don't understand why they felt the need to end it on, like, such a super happy note. So basically, the 2 brothers, Sam and Dean, that's the name, they go on one last, like, let's go on one last hurrah, one last hunting mission, which I just don't believe that if you've been doing this job for 15 years, you're just going to be able to be like, over it, peace out. Yeah, I know that there's vampires out there killing people, but I don't care. Like, just make it make sense to me, okay? So, he dies on an accident on a job. He basically, you know, just dies. Accidental death. Goes to heaven. Whatever. And his heaven is him driving around in his car, listening to some rock and roll jams. Believable. I get it. Okay. They played the same song, like 4 different versions in a row. I don't know why the audio on the last episode was so terribly bad. The music was so loud. It was so bad. Honestly, the last episode, it seemed like a soap opera. It didn't even seem like it was, it seemed almost more like a fan edit than the real show. I just didn't get it. So, he dies, he goes to heaven. The other brother, Sam, the whiny one, okay, that's all I should have to say about him, and he's like a crybaby, okay? He gets married, has a son, names it after his brother, grows old. They put him in the worst wig ever. They just basically put him in like a Albert Einstein wig, and he walks around with glasses and a sweater vest like, I'm an old man. Okay, and you're supposed to just believe, like, this show has so how much money you can't make him look old? Like, what? Okay. Then he dies, natural causes, ends up in heaven with his brother, and it's like, that's the ending. They're together again. I hated it so much. It was so terrible. Honestly, I think the ending of Sopranos was better. I think the ending of Lost was better. I think the ending of everything else is better. Okay? This ending of the show was so annoying. I haven't stopped thinking about it. I hate it so much. If you like it, that's on you. Okay? I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I'm very disappointed. But honestly, I've been disappointed in the past few seasons, so it kind of honestly to me really felt like they were doing what they thought would make everyone happy, and it just felt so flat for me. The wigs, the music, it was so bad. Like, so bad. They were really gripping at just like hoping that everyone would be happy, and I was not happy. Not satisfied. And also, let me just say this while I'm here. My favorite characters in the show have all died off, okay? The two brothers aren't even my favorite characters. I don't even like them that much. If I'm being completely honest, they're whiny and annoying. They're the main characters and like, yeah, you care about them. But when they died, I didn't even care. I wasn't even upset. Like, you know it's not a good death if you don't even care. Right? Like, there's been some TV deaths that have rocked my world, okay? There's been some movie deaths that have just made me depressed for days. Didn't care that they died. Did not care. My favorite character in the show is, well, was an angel whose name was Cass, okay? And he's one of the main characters. He's in like every episode from the beginning. When his character is first introduced, he is like a badass. Like, he is so cool, so badass, so strong, really comes through. And somehow they morphed his character into almost like a joke. Like, he turned into like an idiot. He was so sensitive. Like, everyone in this show is so overly the top sensitive, and I don't think there's anything wrong with men being emotional or men being sensitive, but I do think there's something wrong in 5 monologues an episode crying about how you're brothers and you love each other and you'll do anything for each other. Like, we get it. And you should get it too. If you keep having to tell your sibling that you have their back because they're your sibling and you love them, you don't have their back. Okay? You don't. If you're lying to them every episode and then telling them you love them at the end, you don't have their back. Okay? Like, so that part really turned me off of the show. Like, it was just so monologue-y, and I just like, I can't. I'm so disappointed. Now, saying that, I will definitely rewatch the first 6 or 7 seasons of the show because the show is good, and I do like a lot of these standalone episodes where it's like them just solving one little case. I love that. That's initially why I really liked this show, is because it was a lot of like one-off little cases, and they kind of like threw that away and brought that back for the very last episode, but didn't even like bring back a very good case. Like, it just wasn't, I don't know. I'm unsatisfied. And that's that. Okay, so for movies, the first movie on my list was actually a movie I watched like December 1st. Like, I watched it really early on in the month, and it is Girl Interrupted. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, I think it would be really hard to make a movie list, but if I have to do like my top 100, top 50, this is definitely in there. This is an older movie. I believe this came out in like the early 90s. I'll have to double check on that, but it is starring Winona Ryder, Angelina Jolie, Brittany Murphy, Whoopi Goldberg is in it, Jared Leto, bunch of huge actors and actresses. Honestly, it's a mainly female cast, which was really impressive for the times. You don't get a lot of fully female cast movies that are a serious movie. This is definitely a serious movie. This movie is about a group of girls in a girls', it's not an insane asylum. Like, I don't think that's the right word to use, but it's definitely like a mental hospital. A lot of the girls there have mental issues. There's like a girl that is a sociopath. There's a girl who battles with anorexia. Winona Ryder's character, who is the main character of this story, she had attempted to take her own life, and she's really depressed and is anxious. So and she kind of gets tricked. Honestly, she gets low-key tricked into signing herself into this institution. I don't know, I guess institution is probably the right word for it, and basically like is having to go through counseling and therapy and stuff like that. So she gets to this place and it's all about her and the other girls there, you know. This movie is pretty graphic, like trigger warning for sure. on so many things. On so many things, trigger warning, but I love this movie. I think this movie is so important for women to watch, even men, I mean, anyone. I think it's so important for any to watch, especially if you have any mental health issues. I really, really love this movie. It has a really amazing script to it. It has a really amazing score to it. The actors are all phenomenal actors in it. And it's just a really good movie. Now, saying that, every time I watch this movie, it does kind of send me into a little bit of a spiral. And even though it is one of my favorite movies and I do really, really like it, it touches on a lot of subjects that really hit home to me, hit close to the heart, and it kind of always puts me in like a little bit of a funk for a few days or a few weeks afterwards. So I definitely recommend watching something funny afterwards, or watching something that you know you really love. Like I started Jersey Shore right after I watched it because I just needed something. So I just looked it up. The movie actually came out in 1999 and it takes place in the late 60s. And basically the whole like plot of the movie is whether or not the main character, Winona Ryder, is going to face reality and face, you know, her issues and find help and, you know, really like work with a therapist and work with everything, or if she's gonna dive into, you know, just dive into it worse, dig herself deeper into her depressive hole and kind of be stuck in this institution that she's in, and about her kind of like realizing and recognizing like, yes, I do need help. And it's such a powerful movie. I really, really like the movie. And I did read an article where I believe it was Reese Witherspoon was talking about how when this movie came out, every female, my eye is just like watering, do you see this? Like crazy right now. Every female actress at the time was like fighting for a role in this movie because it was one of the first movies that came out in a long time that had firstly a full woman cast and a serious script, a role where, you know, you're not just somebody's girlfriend, or you're not just, you know, like the cute girl in the background. Like it was a very serious movie and I really, really loved that. I wish there was more movies out there like this, and I think that everyone should watch it, whether you're a guy or a girl. Just be prepared to be in your emotions in this movie. That's all I have to say. That's it. That's all I gotta say. My eye will not stop watering at all. I can't get it to stop. So the next movie I watched was a movie I was super excited about, Soul, on Disney Plus. This is the newest Pixar movie. You know Pixar, you know Disney. They get you in the feels with their animated movies, and I was really, really happy about this movie, really excited about this movie. I believe the trailer for it came out like a year ago, and I remember when I watched the trailer, I was like, oh, I'm gonna love this movie. Now, this movie is about a guy, and you know what? I thought it was actually kind of funny. Normally, Pixar movies, the main character is a child or like a woman, but it's usually like a child is the main character, and I found it interesting that the main character of this movie was a middle-aged man. Kind of cool, like a little bit different, especially for an animated movie. I thought that was a little different. So the main character of this movie is a middle-aged man. He's a band teacher and he is a musician, and his like life goal is to play in like a jazz band. He loves jazz music. That's like his vibe, you know, it's his whole thing. So the beginning of the movie, he auditions for this part in this band, and he gets the audition and he's like so excited, it's the best day of his life, and then he falls into a manhole and dies. Like he dies. That's what they're saying. They're showing him on like life support in the hospital, but he's like dead, okay? And he is a little soul, just this little blue bobbly figure, and he's basically heading into the great beyond, which I like the way they did it. It was basically like a, you know, at the airport, those like moving floors,
just checking in,
where you can walk 10 times as fast, but there's like the moving floor, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those moving floors, and it's basically just like going out into the cosmos, like just going out into the stars. And I thought it was really interesting how they showed like the people going, and you basically just turn into a star. I thought that was kind of cool. And he's like, oh hell no, I'm not ready to die, I gotta make my audition. So he's like fighting, he's running away, and he falls into the new soul world. Like it's kind of hard to explain, but he falls into this world where it's like all baby souls, and all baby souls have to go through like this training, and then you get your personality, and then your soul gets thrown into earth, and you get thrown into a body, and that's what it is, okay? So he gets paired up with this soul, who is Soul 22, who has been around. Like, for instance, okay, her number is 22, and they're introducing like 1,000,000,000,000,8,000,025, okay? So she's been around. okay? And she's had many of mentors, and she's still not ready for Earth. She hasn't found her spark. So the whole movie is about finding your spark so you can get sent to Earth and sent to your body. And he is trying to get home, okay? So basically, they formulate this plan where they're like, let's find someone to get me back in my body, okay? Obviously, the plan goes haywire, and 22 ends up in his body, and he ends up in a cat. And the whole movie is about them trying to basically like body switch back. She doesn't want to be a person. She wants to be back in Soul Land. He wants back in his body because he wants to make this audition. And it's just so cute. And it's really about just like finding yourself and figuring out what your spark in life is and really learning to enjoy life for the little things and not for like the what ifs, the future. Like, be happy for where you're at now, because you know, you could spend your whole life basically. Something I liked in this movie was one of the like side characters says this quote where she's like, a fish swims up to another fish and is like, I can't wait to be in the ocean. And the other fish is like, you're in the ocean. What are you talking about? And the fish is like, no, this is just water. Like, I want to be in the ocean. So it's basically like explaining to you, like, don't take for granted where you're at now and what's happening in your life now, looking towards the future, which is, I think, a lesson that literally, including myself, everyone can learn, because I am constantly like, but what if? What next? What about this? Well, if I get here, I'll be happy. Or if I get this, I'll be happy. And they have this whole part in the movie where they talk about lost souls, and it's basically like gamblers and, you know, people who just don't think they're good enough. And it's honestly such a tricky movie to explain. Like, you really have to watch it. It's on Disney Plus. It's so cute. Jamie Foxx plays the main character's voice, and Tina Fey plays the second main character's voice. Super, super cute. I love it. Now, I don't think it's like the greatest Pixar movie ever. Like, I definitely think like Coco and Moana are better, if I'm going to be completely honest. I did also like that this was a movie that it had a full soundtrack, but it wasn't like a musical. Like most Pixar Disney movies are like a musical, like the main character singing the whole time. This one had a lot of jazz music in it, and most jazz music doesn't really have lyrics. It's just, you know, instrumental, and it was really beautiful. I really enjoyed it, and I thought that was kind of a cool touch that they didn't have like a super musical element to it. So overall, I really did like the movie. I thought it was super cute. I don't think it's Pixar's best movie, but I do think it's a really good movie to add in the, you know, Pixar lineup, the Pixar collection. Super cute. I like the story behind it. I actually saw a really funny tweet that was like, Pixar in the 90s, like, oh, look at this toy that can talk. And then it's like Pixar now, like, what are your hopes, desires, what are your anxieties, your depression? Like, I just thought it was so funny, because it is, like, honestly an intense movie, and I think that Pixar knows that a lot of adults watch their movies, because I find that with this movie especially, I don't know if, like, kids would, like, fully understand the bigger point, the bigger moral, the bigger story. I think it might be a little bit too complex for kids to get, but I think adults obviously will really get it, and I think it's super cute. I think it's definitely worth watching. I really liked it. I thought it was cute. I would rather die than put on mascara right now. Like, I just want to take a nap after this, so I don't know if I'm going to put mascara on or not. I'm blaming it on we're in that weird time between Christmas and New Year's. So, the last movie I watched, and actually was the movie I watched last night before I went to bed, was The Midnight Sky. Now, this is a new movie. It's a Netflix original. It's starring George Clooney, and it is directed by George Clooney. Now, I think this like really just got on Netflix like within the past week or so, because I've watched the trailer a few times, and I love movies like this. I love sci-fi, I love space movies, but I'm not gonna lie, space movies tend to be kind of boring, especially like a more serious tone space movie. When I first saw the trailer, it really reminded me of like Interstellar or Ad Astra, The Martian. Like, it has kind of that slower space vibe to it. So this movie is about, it's not about George Clooney, but George Clooney's character is this like astrophysicist, this space scientist who discovers a new moon on Jupiter.
Just checking in.
I'm not the queen of science, okay? I'm not the queen of space. I know a little bit. I don't know everything. So when I watch these movies, I really can easily just like, you know, suspension of belief. When it's a movie, I don't have to like analyze all the science. I don't have to be like, that doesn't make sense. That would never happen. The technology. Like for me, I don't really care, but I can still see like little plot holes and stuff. It doesn't really bug me that much. But anyways, okay, so he finds a new moon on Jupiter, and this moon seems like it's gonna be the greatest, you know, next Earth. Like, you know how we're all worried about like where are we gonna live when we destroy Earth because people suck and we're destroying the planet. He finds this moon on Jupiter, which is apparently like perfect. It's gonna be just like Earth. So he discovers this new moon. So basically the movie is about George Clooney. Fast forward to 2049. He's now an old man, and the very beginning of the movie he's at, now I'm not sure, I think that he's either in Antarctica or the North Pole at like a science center. So if you don't know, like in Antarctica, like there's hella people that live there, but it's not just like regular people. Like there is like a huge building, it's like a community, it's like all scientists, like that's who lives in places like that, okay? So George Clooney is living there, and everyone is like leaving, like everyone's evacuating hella fast. And the guy is like arguing with George Clooney, like, come on. And George Clooney's like, you guys are gonna die faster leaving than I'm gonna die staying here, okay? And the guy goes, well, you better take your transfusions. George Clooney's character has like some sort of sickness. I'm not sure what it is. They don't really explain it, but they basically just say like if he doesn't give himself these transfusions, like he's gonna die within a week or so. So everyone leaves on these planes. Come to find out, there has been some sort of catastrophic disaster all over Earth. They don't really say what it is, but based on like, you know, the maps and the way that they're acting, I think that it's like a mass nuke. Like I think that like everyone bombed each other and like the world is just a mess. What's new? Okay. So his character is stuck at this shelter, and then it pans over to a group of people in a shuttle. Now this shuttle had already traveled to the moon on Jupiter, and it's on its way back to Earth, and they're stressing out because like they haven't had any contact with anyone on Earth, anyone from the space station. They're like, we're about to land, we haven't heard from anyone, this is weird, like something's going on. So it keeps going back and forth from the people on the shuttle to George Clooney by himself at this place. So a few days go by, and then all of a sudden, George Clooney finds a little girl who got left behind, and he's stressing out. He's like, I don't want to be stuck with this little girl. I'm old, I'm sick, I'm gonna die. Plus, I don't want to be stuck with this little girl. Ugh. Okay, so he's with this little girl. He's trying to contact people. He can't get a hold of literally anyone. He's trying to contact the space shuttles out in the sky. There's no contact with any of them, and he sees that one of them will be in range for the satellite to contact within like 12 hours or something. And that one, this is like so confusing. It's a space movie, okay? It's a sci-fi movie. Basically, he's able to contact that one shuttle, but he needs to get to a further satellite, a bigger satellite that is going to be able to contact them. So he gets this little girl, they get their oxygen masks on because it's like radiation outside, and he's like, let's go. Okay, so honestly, this movie was a little bit more intense than I expected it to be. I didn't expect it to be as graphic as it was. There's one point where they are traveling, you know, through the ice and everything, and they come across a crashed airplane. Now this is definitely a private plane once you get closer and look to it, but you see like the pilot not doing too good. There's a scene where George Clooney goes inside of the airplane and there is a survivor there. First of all, the plane is just filled with like art and sculptures and stuff. Like this rich guy was just like, I'm taking my art and getting out of here. Selfish, like there's no one else on the plane. Rude. Eat the rich, okay? Anyways, and the guy is just like, kill me. Like, kill me. I'm dying. He's like frostbitten. He can't move. He's just like, kill me. Clooney does it, okay? And can I just say, Clooney keeps getting better looking, okay? I used to never really be like a huge George Clooney fan. Like, obviously he's attractive. I've always been like, yeah, he's cute. But the older he gets, the more attractive he is to me, and I don't get what it is because, like, he's a silver fox. Like, he's hot. He's a hot old man. I'm saying it, okay? So then they keep traveling. There's more intense shit that happens. And then you get to, like, the climax of the movie. He gets to the satellite. He reaches the people on the ship, okay, and they're talking. And he basically tells them, like, listen, turn around. Go back to that planet. this planet sucks, you're not gonna make it, you're gonna die if you go to this planet, like, it sucks, okay? So half the people on the shuttle decide we're gonna go back to Earth, and the other half decide we're gonna turn around and we're gonna go to this planet. Plus, let me just add here, Felicity Jones is the main character on the space shuttle. She's pregnant, so irresponsible. All I'm saying, I didn't know that astronauts were allowed to get pregnant. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like extremely, extremely irresponsible. But she's pregnant. Whatever, I guess it just adds to the emotional tone of the movie or whatever. And throughout the movie, there's flashbacks, okay? It's jumping back through George. I'm like confusing the hell out of this movie plot. It's flashing back to George Clooney's earlier life, his character's earlier life, about him like discovering the planet and his relationships, him having a kid with this woman and being a deadbeat dad and not caring about it because science is life, okay? I kind of called it. I've seen enough movies where I usually can call the plot twist. There's 2 plot twists in this movie. I called one and Spencer called the other one. I'm not going to reveal them because like I am making a huge mess of explaining this movie, so definitely watch it. It is a sci-fi space movie. I really, really liked it. I liked the ending to the movie. I like when a movie ends on a more downer note. I feel like everything always has to have like such a happy ending, and that's so in like human nature to make every TV show or every movie or whatever have to have a happy ending. And this one doesn't necessarily have a happy ending, and I really, really liked that. Like I said, it's called The Midnight Sky on Netflix. It's about 2 hours, and I will say, for like a sci-fi space movie, it was like slow, but it actually did keep you like really, really entertained. Like, I really liked the movie Interstellar, but that movie is like kind of boring. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it is boring. It's like a long space movie, has some good moments, but it's kind of boring. This one is a little bit more intense, a little bit more faster paced, a little bit faster moving, even though it is still 2 hours. I really, really liked it. I really liked the ending. I really liked the plot twist in it and the storylines. Spencer is like really into astrophysics and, you know, space and science and stuff like that, so he pointed out like a few plot holes within like the science and the technology, but other than that, he even really enjoyed the movie. I just thought it was really good. Clooney has a really, really good performance, and it is a more serious role. I don't know if I just maybe haven't seen most of his serious movies, but I did find that he did a really good job in this movie, and he wasn't his normal like Clooney self. Like, you know how usually like when I think of George Clooney, I think of like, you know, Danny Ocean. Like, Clooney always plays kind of this like cool, suave type of guy. And not that he's not cool in this movie, like he's definitely cool in this movie, but he's a little bit more edgy. He's a little bit more rough around the edges. He has more of like a grumpy old man vibe, which I found that he did really well. So if you are into like sci-fi movies, space movies, I think you would really like it. If you're not into stuff like that, you're probably not gonna like it because it is, you know, a 2-hour space movie. So if it's just like you're not interested, you're gonna be so bored. But that being said, I really, really did like it. I would definitely watch it again. I think it's really good, and I love that Netflix originals are just getting better and better. There's something so satisfying about watching like a feature-length film that you're like, oh, this could definitely be in movie theaters, but it's on Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, I'm okay with movie theaters never coming back. I know some people are really upset about it, but I'm just like, I'd much rather watch a movie at my comfort of my own home, with my blanket, on my couch, with my pants off, with all my snacks, as many pee breaks as I want. Like, that's a dream to me. Okay, one last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I wanted to throw this in really quickly. Spencer and I have been listening to an audiobook. Now, it's an audiobook that we have already listened to once, but I've been really enjoying it for the second time around. It is Ready Player One. Now, this is a book that was made into a movie, so you may have heard of the movie before. I do really, really enjoy the movie. I think it's a great movie, but the movie and the book are completely opposite, and I'm not just saying that in like a Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings type of way. Like, I'm saying it in a, it's legitimately so different. Like, the main storyline's the same, but the book and the movie are so different. And we're re-listening to the book because the second book, Ready Player 2, actually just was released, and so we were wanting to read the second book, but I thought I'd refresh on the first book, and I am really, really enjoying it. The book is about a young boy who lives, it's in the future, and everyone is addicted to this like VR video game called The Oasis. You basically live in this game. You can do everything but eat and pee in this game, okay? And the creator of the game died, and he created an Easter egg that if anyone found it and, you know, defeated his challenges, they would become the inheritor and the owner of the game and like trillionaires because everyone loves this. It's super rich, and it's about this group of kids fighting to beat, like, you know, the man, the evil guy, the Jeff Bezos, basically, from winning and taking over. And it's like all these challenges, and it's super pop culture-y, super 80s and 90s. It's really fun. It takes place in the future, so it talks about, you know, like 2010 and 1980 and stuff in a way that is like so like, it's funny to me because it's like, I think this also takes place in like 2050 or something, and these kids are like idolizing the 80s as if it's like the greatest time ever, which is kind of like what we do now. So I thought that was fun. It's really cute because it is really pop culture-y. Will Wheaton is who is the narrator of the audiobook, and it's just so good. I really like Will Wheaton. I think he was a good choice to narrate the book. Super cute, fun book if you're into reading books. I would say it's a little bit more sci-fi, a little bit more fantasy. I've been really enjoying it, and I'm really excited to read the second book. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are interested in me talking more about what I listened to this month, whether it be podcasts or audiobooks or like albums. A lot of albums came out this month. Megan Thee Stallion's new album, Kid Cudi's, Miley Cyrus. There was a lot of new music releases this month, and so if you're interested in me talking about that, let me know in the comments down below. I can definitely throw some of those in. Also, let me know about everything I talked about. If you watch Supernatural, please let me know how you feel about the series finale. Even if you feel completely differently than I do, please let me know. Let me know how you feel about any of the movies or the shows I talked about. I am always open for suggestions or requests or just hearing your opinion on things. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel. I post here every Tuesday and Friday. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys in the next one.